You
He said
can't
he
hear
can't
you.
hear us.
Well, then you maybe okay. Can't okay. Let's. This is why I use private chat. Okay, so he's probably going to do a reboot. Okay, we're good. All right. So let's bring it up. I'm gonna put Kofi's name here because of that. But yeah, we want to get that story out there. What's the lady's name on MSNBC? She posted about a week or so ago, and someone in the comments from Canada said, "Why is there no media coverage about this in Toronto?"
Yeah.
So who pushing the wheels for that to happen, good. Joy Reid, that's who it is. Joy Reid, MSNBC, ran a story about it. All right, so let's get into our other conversation topic about New Year, New Vision Part 2. How do we envision 2025? Let's do it one more time. Kofi Morris.
Listen, we need the heavy hitter this week, bro. We need the heavy hitter.
I'm gonna put you in the back and say can't. I'm still okay. So let's kick it off with you, Paul. What do you got to say about that? I've got some things I want to add, but if you want to start, or you want me to start?
Yeah. You can start for a minute, then I'll come in.
Okay. Well, and I don't want to repeat much of what went on last week, but something I want to add to the conversation about. I want Black men and those who love them to live well.
Uh-huh.
Now, everyone has their own definition about living well, but to me, you want to live well, and I've got a note here. To live well means that we lean forward and live with the end in mind.
Love it.
Right? So we really got to lean. The definition of leaning well is really important to me this year, and in just so many areas, you want to just and I think part of living well is being your true self.
Mm-hmm.
Being your true self. Living well is being your true self, and also how we treat not only ourselves but how we treat our other brothers and sisters.
Mm-hmm. I always ask the question, what is keeping you from living your authentic self, your authentic life? Right. So part of my when I say NSA, NSAA, that's actually the Dinka symbol, which means to be authentic. So any work that I do in community, I always ask people, does this environment allow you to show up as your authentic self? And in particular, in this case, as Black men, right? So I want to ask, what is the challenge to us showing up as our authentic selves, whether you're in your workspace, you're in society, you're at home, right? Are there any things that challenge you to show up your authentic self, right? And then the other side of that is, if you were to show up as your authentic self, what would that look like, right? So I even put to you, Dr. Vibe, sometimes is there anything that challenged you from showing up as your authentic self?
It's a great question. I believe if you would have asked me 20 years ago, I may have said maybe yes, but not now. Part of that, this is just from my lens, is that as a Black man, you get to a certain age and you say, you know what? I got to be myself. And I'm just saying from my lens, for the first part of my journey, or I wouldn't say the first beginnings of my journey was all about work, achievement, doing this, doing that. And then a certain part, there was some things that happened in my journey and said, you know what, the most important thing is taking care of myself, taking care of my family. And looking in the mirror, and there were times early in my journey that I would look in the mirror and stare at myself and wonder if it was me on the shelf.
Wow.
That who I was looking at wasn't the person I was.
Mm-hmm.
And realizing that not only was that detrimental to me, detrimental to the family and people, not only people I cared about, but people who cared about me.
Mm-hmm.
So now I just put it out there, and because at the end of the day, I got to look at myself in the mirror at the end of the day, and I don't want to sound selfish here, but again, you've got to be your best to yourself first,
Yeah.
because you're not good to yourself, you can't be good to others. So for me, and especially now with the number of people that need me at different times,
Yeah.
I have to be honest with them. And sometimes there's that whole thing, there's tough love, but sometimes you have to have that tough love, especially when it's looking onto yourself.
Shay. It's funny for me. The biggest times I'm challenged with showing up as my authentic self is when other people are not doing that. So you walk
Mm.
into environments and you're like, yo, and we get it. We have to put on these armors to sometimes, survive these environments, um, especially if it's anti-Black environments or whatnot. But a lot of times we're talking about what we want to vision for ourselves this year, right? But a lot of times we are so used to putting on airs and pretending to not be who we want to be that we don't know how to relax and just be, right? So
Yeah,
my
yeah, it's great. No, it's good you're saying that, because I especially when I'm having conversations with people, they say, "Oh, sorry, I'm eating." I said, "I don't care. Just be yourself." Right? If like I say, if you don't eat, you die. I don't want you dead.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
if it bothers me, I'll tell you. I know people have their manners, but it seems, especially as a, again, we're speaking from a Black man's lens, it's so, we don't get how we sometimes have to pay a price to be ourselves,
hmm hmm
and sometimes it's a price from those who are not, who don't look like us.
yeah,
But it can even get, but where it gets more challenging is when it's we get pushback from those who look like us, that we can't be ourselves, that whole term, the code switch.
right, right, and that's it. I want to shout out some folks that are watching on the channel. My brother from another mother, just my brother straight up. Geddes, big up yourself.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
Geddes for sure. And Hagar, who I met in Detroit, a sister. I can't remember which part of the states you're from. Let me know. Um, but I do remember meeting you. Funny enough, it's like we were myself and my brother Tugs. We were traveling to Detroit for an event, and we saw some folks on the same bus, and we're like, "Are you going to the same place?" Right? So, and then we connected. But I want to kind of hail them up for sure. And then put it out to folks, as Black men of San Antonio, Texas. All right.
what,
There you go. We got people in Texas listening, y'all. You know what I mean?
what,
Hey, guy, you can let us know what's going on in Texas. How are things
Texas is
this
in
up
the
in your family?
house. Texas is in the house. Come
Yes,
on
yes,
now.
in the house.
Come
Uh,
on now. That's large. I love that. Texas is in the house. I love that. That's fantastic.
there you go.
That
Right.
is very
So
cool. Very, very cool. I
100%.
love that. I love that. I love that. Well, wherever you're chiming in from, we're more than happy to have you put comments in the comments section.
Yes,
Please
yes.
do. We this is a co-creative conversation. It's not a one-way conversation. And I operate best when it's co-creative.
100%. Um, yeah, so there's something else that happened this week. Obviously we know. Big up yourself, Christopher Lawrence, as usual. You know,
Mr.
um,
Lawrence.
Mr. Lawrence is in the house. I owe you a call back this week. But yeah, good evening, my brother. Good to see you. But we know obviously something very tragic, unfortunately, happened on New Year's Day in New Orleans. We put our hearts and our souls and sympathy for folks that are, that it happened to, right? So really, I think that's something as well that what I'm taking away, and I don't know the fullness of what happened, but obviously loss of life and tragedy, especially for the first part of the year is very hard to take. But I also noticed that, you know what I mean, and maybe I could be um, not correct, but I'll put it out there. But it seems like it was a brother that was at the center of what happened, right? And it seems that, you know, as a ex-army vets, you know, someone who was having some challenges around, you know, family and finance and you know those kind of pieces. And we talk about it. You know, sometimes again, I'm putting this vision out for um, black men and those who love them, as you would say, that you know again mental health. You know, in the new year, you know what I mean, and opening up conversations and creating spaces to talk about when we're not okay. You know, that's part of my vision to manifest it for myself. You know, manifest it for, you know, the young men that, you know, live in my home. And when I say live in my home, not just my children, because there's lots of young men that pass through my house, you know,
Yeah,
friends,
I've
right?
been there.
So
I've
yeah,
been there when there's been a lot of
yeah,
young men passing through your house.
yeah. So we want to kind of, you know, put it out there. What can we do to encourage our young men to, you know, and men in general, but you know, even our young men to start that positive habit of actually seeking help and support, you know, from each other, from us as older black men, but also from professionals that may be better equipped. So I just want to kind of put that out, that I've seen that as one of the issues, or it appears to be one of the issues that happened again in New Orleans on the New Year's Eve.
Well, so actually, I want to ask, and so for just out of to just also inform people, if you are watching on my YouTube channel, we actually have a poll going right now, and the poll is a simple yes or no question. Are you optimistic about 2025? Yes or no? Simple,
All right.
simple, simple. So, Christopher says, sounds good. Paul also says, good day, Dr. Vibe. He says, this is important work. Yes. And he says he would like to reintroduce a project exclusive for young men. All right. Well, probably the person you're speaking with or you see beside me, maybe the best person to chat with. And I don't want to leave this gentleman out. Kofi Morris. Let's see if we got you. No, we.
Mic check.
Okay.
Mic check.
Okay. So this is. Okay. So I think if I bring this. Okay. Kofi, you with us now? Okay, so I think this is going to be wild. All right, so let's do this. Are you with us, Kofi?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we hear you. We hear you.
We hear you. I think the thing, I guess the wild thing is we have you on video, and I think the video screen that we can see you. There's no audio, but then there's a screen that doesn't have your picture. We can hear you. So you have cornered half the space tonight. You alone. You dominated.
Yo, the heavy hitter was so big last week. You know,
Yes,
he needs
he
two
cornered
spaces this week.
two spaces in the marketplace. Good stuff. And someone has responded, at least we have one response to the poll on the YouTube channel. Yes, someone says they are optimistic about 2025. Excellent. Brother Kofi, what you been up to? How's things? What's going on in your yard?
Man. All is well, brother. All is well. Thankful for being here, being in the space. Apologies. I got a lot of shifts taking place in community and being pulled in different directions, but I'm thankful to be here. As an amazing holiday, Kwanzaa time, you know, connecting with the family and connecting with folks in community, extended family, eating a whole heap of food, so I have to burn off some serious calories. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes.
So making sure I'm on top of that when it comes from a health perspective. You know, balance is key. But I'm looking forward to today's conversation, and again, like planting seeds for this year and what that looks like. You know, it's part and parcel to even that share, because sometimes the overindulgence leads to the need to release and let go, just like how we got to release and let go stuff from last year to make way for the new. So looking forward to today's reasoning and connection, and thank you for holding space, brothers.
So I want to ask you, Brother Kofi, myself and Paul discussed already, but one of the things I'm really wanting Black men and those who love them this should do is living well. What does living well mean to you in 2025?
Wow. I think it's approaching things with what we call a holistic lens, right? Which is really looking at the whole picture. Living well for me is ensuring that my relationships, oftentimes our relationships reflect where we are in our lives. I was speaking to someone earlier about this, and where we are is often rooted in time that's spent with self. So for me, like living well is when I'm in alignment with my relationship with myself. I'm alignment with my purpose, what I'm supposed to be doing, and how that looks. And a lot of that has to do with my wellness, in terms of my spiritual hygiene, as we call it, in the holistic space. Right, the time that I spend in spaces where that ground me, that bring me peace. Right, whether that's in meditation, whether that's walking by the water, whether that's just grounding myself, separating myself from just the social interactions, and listening internally. I practice traditional African spirituality, so that a lot of that has to do with grounding. A lot of that has to do with daily prayers, offerings, acknowledging the cycles of nature. So for me, it's a holistic view, but a lot of it is rooted in my spiritual hygiene, my spiritual regimen, and consistency around care for self, which I'm an advocate for and I speak a lot about.
Okay. Then another aspect that I want to bring to both you to have comments on is the whole aspect. I want to read it here. In what ways, and I think this is important, not only during any part of the year, in what ways can we suggest Black men suggest balance in their present pursuits? Anyone want to jump in like that on that at all? Balance in their pursuits. Whether you want to start from your own lens and then maybe talk about it, maybe just suggestions for Black men and those who love them.
Sure.
Brother Paul,
Sure. I can start. Yeah, I can start. Are you going to go, Kofi, or you want me to go?
No, please.
Yeah. So balance is also key, and you want to, again, mention balance is, part of some of the ancient values that we had in Ma'at. It was, one of the 7 principles of Ma'at, right? And we also often talk about the challenge of balance, in particular, living in this environment where we have so many things that are pulling at us, right? And then we have another side of things that is saying that, success looks a particular way, right? So we talk about the pursuit that you're talking about. So it's like, I should be maybe running down, making that $1 million a year. But also, how do I balance, my responsibility to myself in terms of self-care, family, community, and otherwise, right? So I think sometimes for me, balance comes back to priority, because we can't make everything a priority, right? We just got to think about, okay, so of the 5 or 6 things that, we know we need to get to, what is a priority? And funny enough, again, as I started the show today, I was online, and I was not online, I was on my phone, because I was coming from a family birthday celebration where myself, my children, and my nephew from Detroit, we went out today, and they reminded me, I'm like, I'm going to be late for this show today. They're like, yo, Dad, you got to be in the moment. You know what I mean? Dad, you got to have that balance around, yeah, this is family time, right? And even though I want to pursue being on the show or whatnot. So I think that for me, prioritizing my own self-care this year, and the things that come along with it, is the place where I want to start around balancing before I go to external pursuits. I really want to deal with some internal pieces that will help to build me, and I think that will allow myself to be better prepared to do the bigger things that I want to manifest this year, right? But I think, again, that balance and who's pulling you and whatnot, I think it comes down to prioritizing yourself, right? And in a selfless way, but not in like I'm doing it because it's all about me, but really figuring out anything I want to manifest, I first have to have that balance within myself. So I'll kick it to my brother Kofi. See what you have to say.
You're preaching, brother. You preaching, because like I'm right in alignment with that. The funny thing is the we're both Kofis, which we found out later in life.
Are you frozen?
Yeah, we're having some audio. Okay, so Kofi, I'm going to suggest you log out and log back in again because we're having some audio challenges with you. Okay, so we're going to pull him off for a second and come back. Now I'll piggyback on what's been shared already. And well, we'll just get to some comments first. So Christopher Lawrence has some more comments here saying, two space Kofi, I love it. He also says, good day, Kofi. Yeah, two spaces on the screen. He's in so much charge. And then also keep up the great work. And he also says spiritual hygiene. I like that. I had an interesting concept shared with me. So when people think about the word portfolio, what do people think about when they think about the word portfolio? If you're watching live, I'd love to hear when I say the word portfolio, what do you think about? Paul, what do you think about when I say the word portfolio?
It comes to business. I don't know, for some reason, my mind comes to, like stocks and bonds and stuff like that, right?
Yep.
When it comes to portfolio for me, I would definitely say that.
And Kofi, I hope you're back with us. Did you get this? Are you coming from the same lens when I say the word portfolio?
Okay. Yes, I am.
Okay. Thank you, BM. BM has a comment up here. Love it, BM. Yeah, BM says finances, investments. I love that, but I want to expand on the word portfolio for Black men and those who love them in 2025. Portfolio is your whole life. Not only money, relationships, your health, the way you're treating yourself, the way you're treating others, the way you're treating ancestors. I want to suggest that you think portfolio is a holistic thing, not a money thing.
Yeah. Brother Geddes says it can also be a body of work to showcase.
Well, look who's in the house. Tanika Riley, what is up? Tanika Riley, when are you coming on here? I want Tanika Riley to be a guest. What can happen? Because she does a lot of hard work with Black youth, and she could give us, I'd love her to come on and give a lens on Black youth, especially Black men, because she has been doing hard work for an hour, not a minute, an hour. So Tanika, we need you here. Geddes says, yes, he is optimistic about 2025. I hope you could, excellent. And look at this. She says, snap, snap, and done. So,
right.
Tanika, because I saw you on your Instagram feed. It looked like you were out of the country. Are you back or whatever? So I'm going to reach out to you, and I want to have you on sooner rather than later to give a lens on what's going on with our Black youth, especially our young Black men. So it's a done deal. So Brother Kofi, want you back. What do you want to add?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. Yeah, I was saying that it's funny, myself and Brother Paul, we both share the name Kofi, which means we're both born on a Friday, but we didn't figure that out till a little bit later in life, in our friendship. But just recognizing that we have particular, very, very similar outlooks at some of these topics. So this piece, for me, in terms of balance, I've come to a conclusion that it's a work in progress. That this thing called balance is a serious work in progress, especially if you're part of a family, you're involved in business, and you have some kind of work you do in between all of that. Those are three like lifestyles that you're balancing. So, or attempting to balance. It's a work in progress. Sometimes there's areas of your life that just require more time and energy, regardless of the outcomes that are taking place in the others. It's like if your child is sick, what are you going to do? You're going to focus that attention, that time on that child. right? Vice versa, your family is stable, but your business is going in a particular direction, good or bad, and it needs your time and attention. So you're going to apply more time and attention in that space, right? I think it's almost like the makeup of the body. You know, when there's an imbalance in a particular part of the body, oftentimes we're forced to take care of ourselves when we get colds, right? That's when people say, oh, I'm going to start taking my vitamin, I'm doing all these things because there was an imbalance previously. So now we're trying to rebalance something that's already fallen out of balance. But it's because we were focused on the things that we thought needed to get done in our lives. So we're running. We're not resting. We're not eating properly. We're giving all this time and energy to others and not filling back our tank. So for me, it's a work in progress. But I think the more you become mindful of the importance of self-care, it's the more you start to, take that teeter-totter and start to figure out ways to balance it one way or the other that can work for you until you get to a place of what would be looked upon as consistency, right? Because a sister challenged this word the other day with me, with in a conversation I was having about persistence and consistency, and saying that even consistency unto itself is almost a misnomer, because things happen in life that challenge your consistency. But if you're persistent, you can be successful, right? So to answer your question, for me, it's honestly, it's that balance piece is a work in progress. But I think the more that I'm focused on the mindfulness practices in my life, the more I'm able to know where I'm supposed to prioritize, what requires the most energy, so to speak, and ensuring that's given. I have a little bit more of a longer answer I could give, but that's the main piece. The offshoot that I'll give with that, though, is interesting. For my fatherhood role, when my daughter became 18, my eldest daughter became 18, I was spending time with her on weekends. And it got to a point where I had to ask her, what is it that she needed from me? Because she didn't require me in the same way she did previously. And my mindset was, I needed to be here for her in these times, and this is how it needs to look. But I had to reassess it after speaking with her and figuring out, oh, this is what she needed, right? She didn't need to be with me every other weekend together in space. She maybe just needed me to connect with her at our coffee culture and drink one of her favorite drink and catch up on her life and what was happening. So the balance for me at that point was putting all this energy in one space that maybe didn't require that particular type of energy. So that means I could put that energy somewhere else and be there for this person in this particular way. So I think as life, changes and shifts, and we go with the ebbs and flows of life, we start to recognize where are our priorities, where were you supposed to put that time. But I find what grounds all of that is self-care and mindfulness practices. It gives us a clearer view of how to look at these aspects of our lives.
Nice. Anything you want to add, Paul? You're on mute, my brother.
There you go. I have a question for Kofi, actually around, right now I know because of the long holidays, staying up all night as we do and whatnot, definitely out of balance. So I'm going to ask Dr. Kofi, in terms of, feeling the body out of balance, and this is for anybody else as well. Do you have any remedies that you could suggest if you're feeling kind of sick or something like that, and getting and also not just physically, but getting yourself back into that state of balance, right? If there's anything that you could suggest.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, a couple of different things come to mind, right? What I find with a lot of people, and it might be similar to you as well, is that when the cold comes in, oftentimes is when you're grinding. It's when you're putting a lot of time and work into things. And it's like you haven't adjusted your regimen relative to other areas like food and nutrition and supplementation and stuff like that, water intake. And you're going hard here, but the body's saying, look, I still need this. You're not giving me this. So in order to manage all of these things you got going on, I went to visit a friend, in the hospital. And I literally was walking through the Emerge. And as I was walking through Emerge, of course, who's in the Emerge, right? A lot of young children. And as soon as I walk into before, of course, I put on my mask, right? walking through Emerging, I'm hearing coughing and I'm hearing, all of this in this 2-minute walk. And I said to myself, even though I have my mask on, the consistency of my regimen relative to the things I just mentioned, supplementation, water intake, intake of daily fruits and vegetables, right? Those things all help to manage whatever else is coming in the external environment, right? So flu season, that's what I'm talking about here, right? You're now exposed to more people that are coughing, sneezing, touching things. And normally your body may have been able to adjust and adapt, but you're going hard and you're not doing some of these other things. So it hits you. You know what I mean? So I say, look back at supplementation. What are you normally taking? A lot of people tell me, I take vitamin C, I take vitamin D. So ensuring that your daily supplementation is happening. Context. In the islands where a lot of our parents come from, a lot of the daily vitamins and nutrition, minerals and stuff, we would get it from our natural environment. Plus, you are more apt to be eating fruits and all this kind of stuff. Even the air itself is moisturized. It has water in the air. So you're taking in all these things. You come to North America, now you have to supplement because you're not picking mango from tree again, right? You may be not eating as much root vegetables. So getting back to your regimen, maintaining your supplementation, checking your rest. I tell people, don't feel bad to nap. If you need to organize a little 20-minute, 30-minute power nap, now that the sun is coming down, you're getting less vitamin D. So ensuring that you're getting the proper rest. And if you're not getting your 8 hours, try to supplement it somewhere there, right? So that's my short answer for a kind of more substantive question. But ensuring that you're looking at your daily intake. There's one particular supplement that I'd recommend for a lot of people that I swear by. It's a liquid-based supplement. It's called Vital Greens. Look into this thing. 2 magic words, man. Vital Greens. Your daily intake of your daily vitamins and minerals, it can come in a liquid form, 15 mils a day. You can add a little bit more to that, but ensuring that you have some of the core supplements that your body needs that you may not be getting from foods. I find a lot of Caribbean people don't like a lot of the, what do you call it? I don't like a lot of the fruits of Canada, like the North American fruits. Like they like mango and you know what I'm saying, guava. They like all that stuff, but they're like, what am I gonna eat? Apple, orange, and grape. They're like, that's not for me. They want their foods, the foods that they grew up on.
Yeah,
and I'm like, it's all good. Chop some of those up, plus your plus your Caribbean fruits, right? Supplement because you don't have the same access that you would back home. So cut up some of your mango and put it with your apples and your orange and your grape and them thing there, and have a fruit bowl every day, right? I guarantee you do this daily, you'll start to see a difference. You're oxygenating your blood, right? You're giving your body what it needs by also the supplementation. I'm saying do both, right?
Yeah. So there you got it, family. You're getting advice upon advice upon advice, for your health. So I got my box of fruits and veggies the other day, so I'll be cutting them up and starting my regimens.
Well,
preparation. That's the other thing we forget is how to prepare. Today's Sunday. You know what? We have the show on the perfect day for this, right? I have my little pill. Look, I have it here in my pocket. My little pill. Fill up my little pill, my supplements right here in terms of some of my vitamins, right? I fill this up. Make sure on a Sunday I have everything that I need inside here, right?
Sure.
Put this in your
one of the things I'll add on to this
travel with, so you have that with you. Cut up your fruits and stuff.
I think there's a delay with this.
Because I think he's on the white. One thing I will add is for me, I make sure I eat at least one salad every day, and before any major meal that I have salad first. Another thing, it's not in the food regime, but I think in the wellness regime, I tell people no is a complete sentence. No is a complete sentence. I just want to add here, Tanika says, yes, I'm not feeling ready to get back to work life and any huddle vibes. What are some suggestions? So Kofi did that. And he says hustle vibes. And she says, definitely going slow as it's still midwinter. Oh, but you know, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how long it takes people to get back their groove back, start when they're going back to work tomorrow. They're going to see, and especially how it's, you know, and how it gets dark early, and how long it's going to take for them to get their groove back.
100%. I got a question for you both.
Uh-oh.
What, name something, if you think about it, that you didn't complete in 2024 that you want to bring into 2025 and complete that. So, you know, we don't get to all our goals and everything like that, but what is one thing that, you know, you didn't quite complete in 2024, but you want to manifest it in 2025?
Kofi, you want to go first?
I could say a quick one. I have all of the pieces, almost all of the pieces for my vision board, and I've been waiting for some special important people in my life to get theirs together so we could do it together. Not put nobody on blast, you know, those people know who they is. But you know, want to get it done, just put it up there. I give a little snippet. You know, I put my vision board on my ceiling, so when I wake up, I look up and I see all my
okay,
vision, visualize the accomplishment of those goals.
Why did you decide to put it on your ceiling? Because I've never heard anyone do that before.
Yeah, because, you know, when you wake up, like we have this bad habit, right? Like anybody who's listening, please put it in the chat. If you're guilty of this, and it's not a judgment call, it's more of an observation. A lot of people pick up their phone. The first thing that they do in the morning is they pick up their phone, whether you're checking the time, whether you're taking off your alarm clock, you open your WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, whatever social thing you open up, that's what grabs your attention. As opposed to that, as soon as you open your eyes, if you sleep on your back, which you should, or your side, not your stomach, we'll talk about that, but you look up and you see all these things that you envision for yourself. That's the first thing that you see. You're automatically tapping into your subconscious in terms of the things that you've said are important to you. Now you're seeing them in a vision. So that's already planting a seed in your subconscious consistently every single day, right? So it's like somebody, like it's like a coach working with you every day, telling you, hey, did you do your, hey, you remember do you do your sit up? You do your push up? You know, it's like, but beyond that, it's more looking into the future, the things that you putting that up there and making sure that it's available to you so that you can envision those things. And the key thing I'll give is the key ingredient is the envisioning of not only the accomplishment, but the feeling that you will get from accomplishing the thing. Because they say that, you know, we run towards pleasure and we run away from pain, right? That's just a subconscious thing about us as humans. So if you can envision the pleasure that's going to come from paying off your debt, if you can envision and feel the feeling of the quality time with your family, if you can feel the feeling of sitting in the whatever nice car that you want to purchase, it's more apt that your subconscious will support that goal because it feels good, right? We have goals, family, that we want to accomplish, but because we haven't tapped into the feeling of it, we haven't accomplished it. So we actually want the thing, but we haven't done enough work with the feeling aspect of it, so that we're not connected to what that truly means for us. So making $1 million, some people say it's like this thing, right? I want to make $1 million. What if subconsciously you feel like making $1 million means you have to work 80 hours a week and it's not something that you want to do? What's the chances? How likely is it that you're going to do that? You're not going to move in that direction because it's painful, but your mind says, I want $1 million. You know what I mean? So just getting to align ourselves with our goals starts with the visualizing of them, the feeling deeply internally of what that feels like to be there, but giving yourself the consistent vision of being in that space and feeling that. So that's why I put it on my ceiling. I can't miss it.
Sure. All right. So what about yourself, Dr. Vibe? What unfinished work do you have?
Well, you know, there's always a number of things, but before we get there, just want to count. Marsha Laylor says touche. Also, Dr. Tachi. Don't know about Dr. Tachi? She runs a great independent content creators network she's based in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, called Indie Soup Media. I have a number of edited versions of my epic conversations on her platform, and they just celebrated their 8th-month anniversary on December 25th. She has over 22,000 YouTube subscribers in 8 months, and this is this is actually one of the conversations that's on that platform, an edited version of this. So good to hear you and good to see you, Dr. Tachi. Tanika says you attract what you feel and vibrate, not so much what you think. Whoa, Tanika. What? Man,
Tanika is one of the sharpest pencils in the pouch. Y'all got to know that.
What?
She's like, woo,
Riley. Okay,
I've
messaged you, Ms. Riley, so I'm now pushing to have you on next Sunday. You see, you're proving why you need to be on sooner rather than later. 100%. So you're getting back to me something I didn't finish in 2024. I actually did it today. I wanted to do a survey for one of the platforms that I do live conversations on. So I sat down most of this afternoon and did the survey. So I've just sent it to my mentor for him to look over. So when that's done, I can release it and then use that as a template for other shows that I do, including this one of sending out a viewer survey. So you caught me a good time. I said, I got to, sometimes just to add on to what Brother Kofi was saying, 2 things. Don't get good, get done.
That's it.
Right? And another thing in regards to things we should be doing, it's just another way of procrastination, right? And this is what I share with people. First of all, if you're procrastinating on something, don't beat up on yourself, because most of us during our journey, we procrastinate on things. So don't feel guilty. Don't weight it down on yourself. A lot of times when you're not getting something done that you should get done, you're thinking about how it's making you feel if you're not getting it done. Why don't you think about what happens when you get it done? And then the next step is, who wins when you get it done? Not only you win, but at least one other person's going to win because you get it done. And then the key thing that a lot of people don't realize is when you get it done, celebrate. What are you going to do to celebrate that you finished it? People don't celebrate enough in their lives, and we're a people of so many great achievements that we suppress them. We need to celebrate them. So that's how I would share that the response to your question.
Thank you guys much for that. Thank you much for that. And that's for everybody too. You know, if there's anything else that you're out there, you didn't complete in 2024, you know, it's never too late, right? It's just a calendar year. And I also want to hail up my sister Tanika. We were talking about how you know, according to a lot of ancient systems, the new year really begins in March, right? The switching over of the spring and manifesting. So it's never too late. You still got 3 months to do what you did in 2024. We're gonna pull it over for y'all, right? So you have that extra time to get it done. For myself, there's a couple of books that I started reading that I really want to finish. So I'm going to make sure that I finish those books because they're really, you know, insightful. And yeah, so I want to get some more reading done.
You know, you're pushing me right now, because I bought a number of books a few months ago and they're sitting beside my laptop. I started in on one of them and it just stalled. So You know what? You're challenging me. I want to share with people also with 2025. There are, at the end of January 5th, and some people may be watching this at different time zones, but at the end of January 5th, there'll be 525,600 minutes left in this year. It's a whole lot of time.
Say that again. Say that one more time. Say that one more time.
At the end of January 5th, because we're broadcasting live on January 5th.
Yes.
There'll be 525,600 minutes left in this year.
Dope.
And it actually, and another interesting thing, I was at my dad's place yesterday, and he was complaining, man, they don't give calendars out anymore. They don't give, because he's old school. He likes the wall, the calendars you hang up, because they don't give out. He says, he goes, man, can you get me? And he says, well, I was at my bank the other day and they were giving, I says, can you get me one? And one of the things I like about those calendars, and I got to get one myself, is each one of those calendars has a box for each day.
Yeah.
What are you filling each box of your calendar with?
Love it. Love it. There you go, folks. What are you filling each box?
Each box of your calendar, what are you filling it with? Right? And we've mentioned it here, I think, brother, or it should be Dr. Kofi now, mentioned it with, is that I really want to encourage and suggest that you have an accountability partner. I'm going to make that suggestion, because studies show that it's one thing to have a goal. I don't do goals, I do words for the year. But if you do the goal thing, it's one thing and that's another thing too. It's great to have a vision board, but who's making you accountable with those things are on the vision board?
Exactly. Exactly. I actually, again, based on last week's conversation mentioning about accountability and our accountability partner, I reached out to my accountability partner. Based on this conversation we had last week, we got to get together. So I will be getting together with her this week, and we were sharing some of our goals, and we're going to be accountable for the year. So I definitely encourage it. You know what I mean? Like, somebody has to hold you accountable, and you can hold someone else accountable. So that's your challenge for the week, family. Find yourself an accountability partner. You're not showing up next week without one. We checking in with folks. Well, there's actually, Barry, I'm gonna call BM out. Barry, you were supposed to find an accountability partner, right?
That's right. That's right. That's right. You're right. Well, it's interesting. There was someone on one of my shows a week ago tomorrow, and that person, after we finished, I'll say she stayed on with me for a number of minutes, and I said, do you have an accountability partner? Well, I'm thinking, I says, do you need it? So I said, do you need an accountability partner? And I said it like 4 times, and she finally realized, oh, are you offering? Well, that's why I asked 4 times. She didn't realize, but the thing is, she hasn't followed up with me. She said yes, but she hasn't followed up with me. So I'm just going to lay back in the weeds and see when she presents herself saying, okay, let's be an accountable. I want you as my accountability partner.
All right. Hail up, brother. Hail up, brother Kofi, your boy. Listen, we got to get you on the show, my brother. Kofi, I call him Kofi West. Right.
Okay.
And Finch. There's too much Kofis in the city here, but he knows who he is. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So hail up, my brother. He's responsible for bringing a lot of good things to the city. Recently, they brought Dr. Umar Johnson. So yeah, my brother, he's been doing the work. He has some great products out there in terms of.
So Barry's saying I was away this week, but I did contact my rites of passage brother to see if he was interested in being an accountability partner. I will see how that goes this week. Well, if he doesn't step up, you can reach out to me. Minnie on Cam says, because having the account partner means responsibility and taking action. Facts.
All right.
Facts. All right. So, gentlemen, before we call it a conversation, what do you have? Is there anything we need to know about in the upcoming week that you are doing or visioning of getting done?
Well, there's a lot. I'll put it to Kofi first. Go ahead, Kofi.
Okay, absolutely. So a couple quick things. I'm running something called a Momentum Masterclass for the last couple of years now, just pre-COVID. And I found that the importance of coming together in that space that you're talking about, Dr. Vibe, of group accountability, individual accountability is so key. And when you come and you say you're going to do something, and then a group of people says, okay, cool, we want to, we support you, etc. And the next week they say, did you do it? It helps to keep you in alignment. So definitely feel free to reach out to me if you're interested in being in a space like that and being able to promote, some of those internal goals that you have that you want to bring to fruition for this year. It'd be a great place to do that. We meet on Mondays at 7 and as well as Saturday mornings. So looking forward to connecting with folks on that note. And in terms of those who are writers and creators, There's this thing that says, it's very simple quote is that writer's right, right? Writer's right. So if you're a writer and you have projects that you've been wanting to, put into action, and you haven't been doing them, I'm urging you now to take the time. Can you hear me? Because it looks like, do you still have my sound?
Yeah, we hear you. Brother. Go ahead.
Being able to really take the time to put it in your daily schedule to write, commit to, 20 minutes to an hour every day. And I use that as an example. If you're a dancer, dance. If you're a painter, paint. Whatever it is that you do, you write poetry, you want to create a children's book, put the time in so you can get to your 10,000 hours of mastery. But if you're in the process of utilizing this bad word, starts with the P. I talk about it in my book called Procrastination. If that's a challenge that you have, set an alarm, use your phone, use your iPad, whatever you use, and commit to that daily goal. Create a self-accountability tool for yourself that if you don't complete it, what will happen? If you don't complete it, you have to do 10 push-ups. If you don't complete it, you have to eat a bowl of some kind of thing where you don't like. Black licorice is one of my favorite go-tos. Most people don't like it. So you can have a bowl. Yes, Dr. Vibe, you have a little bowl of black licorice beside your laptop. Put it on your table. If the night comes and you haven't done the thing you said you're supposed to do, pick up that spoon and eat some black licorice. Because guess what? And I'm just giving that as an example. But you're creating a self-accountability measure for yourself that tomorrow you're not going to want to eat that black licorice. So you're going to do the thing that you said you're going to do. Create a tool for yourself to keep yourself accountable, in addition to, of course, the external party, which is your accountability partner. My goal in terms of this week, there's some serious writing that I have to accomplish and get done. I'll be launching 2 more books this year. So just looking forward to getting that into people. A lot of amazing things to come. So looking forward to sharing some of that with the audience, and definitely stay tuned to the Dr. Vibe Show for more updates. That's the Brother Paul.
Paul, go for it.
All right. So I want to officially declare with my Sankofa bird that this is the year of joy, right? Not just for myself, but I'm going to declare it for everybody. The year of joy. And the year of joy begins on January 7th, which is my birthday. So Kofi knows. The year of joy begins on January 7th, which is also Ethiopian Christmas, for them to know. But yeah, joy. So on that day, this week, I'm gonna do my massage.
Nice.
Get my pedicure. Get my pedicure.
Nice.
Hail up. You know what I mean? I'm going to have a goal to run 7 5Ks. So my training actually begins on.
Wow! Hold on. What?
I gotta run 7 5Ks. That's my goal this year. You know what I mean?
Wow.
That's my goal, to try to do that piece, right? To make it manifest. So I'm just declaring it for everybody. January 7th. Welcome. It's the year of joy. There you go. I'm declaring it. This is for y'all.
All right. Well, look, first of all, a happy birthday, because the next live we do, you've already have celebrated it. So that's fantastic. And thanks for sharing. 7 5Ks. We're going to keep count on you during the year now.
This is it. I'm there.
All right. For myself, coming up this week, we'll always have 2 morning vibe shows to do. One at 9 a.m. Monday, one on Friday. I think we're doing a free conversation or like a town hall tomorrow. And Friday she's in the room right now. Dr. Tachi is in the comments. She's going to come on and talk about the year 2024, the year in media, tech, and pop culture. I have someone who's going to be launching a new, they call it podcast, I call it show, in the next few weeks. She reached out to me today and she wants some suggestions on how to get a good, successful launch. Looking forward to that. Meetings with some people. It's the week. Yeah, the week is looking okay, and making sure I dress warm because we're getting a dip in temperature in Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
So it's coming back, and also too. And Kofi, I love how you said. I know a lot of people that are under the weather are not feeling good, sick.
Yeah.
A lot of things going on. So Mignon Cam says, because an accountability partner means, I think we already took that. She goes, I know Kofi Arts. She says, you and her went to high school together. Hello.
I think she's talking about the other Kofi.
Or the other Kofi. Jay and Finch Kofi. The Jay and Finch Kofi.
Okay. All right. Okay. She's talking and also recommends a book, Outliers, book by Malcolm Gladwell.
Great book.
And she says her mom's birthday is January 8th. So lots of January people in the house. And I guess what else? Making sure I do regular and get back to my exercise routine and start getting back to my usual eating routine, because I went a little in over the holidays. So it's time to pull it back, get back to the 4 or 5 bottles of this every day. I make sure I do my salads, but other things I got to take care of also. So there it is. So
Dr. Bright, you touched upon something that I think would be good for us to, I'm going to try to implement this a little bit. The temperature for this week that you spoke about, 7-day forecast. We're talking -8 tomorrow in Toronto, -5 on Tuesday, -10 on Wednesday.
That's without wind chill. That's only during the daytime too.
That's the daytime. -7 Thursday, -3 Friday. It kind of heats up a little bit. -2 Saturday, -1 Sunday. So folks, prepare for this week. Wednesday, I'm gonna be a frozen. Hey, I'm not telling nobody to call in sick and these things there, but all I'm saying is that you have a certain amount of sick days in your employment. You know what I'm saying? If you haven't done your vision board,
I have another declaration with my Sam.
Oh boy, here's
forget about. Listen, I want melanated people to advocate for this. We don't need sick days. We need 2 cold days. If it's too cold at a certain temperature, we ain't coming in. We working online. So I want folks to tell me what temperature makes sense. I'm talking about including wind chill. Come on, brother. Come on.
AMC, brother.
Hold on, you guys got
melanin.
I don't got anything up here.
Yeah,
straight up, AMT, brother. Anti-melanin temperature. I understand. I think AMT. That's the new. You know what I'm saying?
You heard it here first, y'all.
You know what I mean? It don't work well.
AMT. Oh, you guys are. Well, actually, one other thing. Okay, look at this. So Tanika says, or mental health days because of this weather affects the mind and spirit. Trust, I miss the Caribbean sun. I think many of us do. Actually, one of the two thing about the procrastination, there was a gentleman who works for one of Canada's top 10 companies. He's a senior vice president, reached out to me on LinkedIn. I said, okay. And I procrastinated responding to him. But what did I do 2 days ago? I was saying, oh, it's holiday time. He's not going to be near. I said, no, let me send it. I sent him a video introduction of myself. He responded within 2 hours.
Beautiful.
Okay. Love it.
And I felt great when I sent it. And I said, now he opened it up. He hasn't responded, but I know he's at least opened up. So I already put in my message. If I don't hear from you within a week, I'll follow up with you. So that has started.
There you go. Actually, I want to mention one more thing. As you said that, it's reminding me. All right, so it's going to be out there. We'll let people know about it a little bit more, but save the date, January 25th. New look, new vision. I'm going to be doing a photo shoot for folks who want to get new headshots. You want to get your video, all that piece. So Jan 25th at the C Center. I will give you more details as we come in the week, but hold that date if you're looking for
I think I'm overdue. Look. I'm overdue for people. Most people love my headshot, but it's time to get a new one done.
There you go.
Book early, them spots is gonna fill up quick.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, okay, that is good to know. And Mignon, as I was born in Canada in February, I've learned how to deal with it. Bless you that you were born in Canada in February. No. Not for me. All right. So,
well, one thing I'll say, Dr. Mike, on a procrastination note, let's say out of the first 5 people that reach out to me, I will be doing a book giveaway I won't give it away too much yet, but it has to do with that P word right there. One of my books I'm releasing. So the fifth person that reaches out to me on social, I will reserve a personalized copy for you for my next book that's coming out. That's speaking to
Okay. All right, put it out there. Yeah. So as we start closing off, you want to get a hold of Kofi Sadat, there's his email address, and it's in the platforms. If you're watching mine, it's in the comment section, but it's on this screen here. And also, Kofi Morris wants to give away some books. There you go. Email and Instagram. What? And then website for me, the drvibeshow.com, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, the Dr. Vibe Show, Instagram at the drvibeshow, X/Twitter, drvibeshow, email dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. And you can watch replays of this epic conversation on the Dr. Vibe Show YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, and the Dr. Vibe Show website. And it always adds Paul Osborne on Facebook and also NASA Community on YouTube. There we go. So it is covered. So as always, I'd like to say to everyone, thank you for watching live or on the replay. It's appreciated, not taken for granted. And as always, live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions and aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. And don't just manage your time, manage your energy. And remember to give yourself grace. And if you're not making money, make history. And that's not just for this today, 365. God bless. Peace to you all. Keep the faith and walk good. We'll see you next week.
Peace and love.